Hi. It's been a long time since I've done one of these videos. It's been a long year. It's time for some big news. As many of you know, for the past few years, I've been publishing under one name. The same name. My name. Sara Marks. It doesn't matter if it was romance, horror, fantasy, mystery, a combination of the genres. Originally, I made the decision and thought either you wouldn't care, or if you were confused, you'd figure it out because the book covers would make things clear. The blurbs would make things clear. I would include language to make the genre clear in the blurb and on the cover. But I'm pretty sure now that was naive of me because this is my brand. This is my identity. And if my romance books are full of hope and love, the fantasy's the opposite. It's hopeless. And the fantasy and mystery stories fall in the middle. So horror, hopeless, fantasy, bittersweet ending. Romance, all of hope and love. The name I use on these books really is confusing because so many genres fall into them. Helping readers understand what they're getting is my job. Not just writing the books, but helping you understand when you go to buy or check out or borrow. You should understand, without effort, what kind of book you're getting. This is why J.K. Rowling and Nora Roberts use pen names when they write in different genres. They are so well known for their specific genre that they need to help readers shift for new ones. And now that I've had some experience under my belt and you have all told me what I wanted to deny, I'm ready to start using the pen name. Don't panic. I mean, I did, so hopefully you won't. I'm not getting creative. I know there are a lot of good reasons why authors use pen name. Some want to craft a very specific brand and use that name to shape that vision of themselves. Others will do it to protect themselves, and some use it to help them stand out. I am doing it to help readers distinguish between the multiple genres that I'm writing in. My friends and family will always recognize my books because they know me, they understand me. But I'm following the examples of other authors, and I'm going to use my initials, S.R. Marks, Sarah Rebecca Marks. I don't have the energy to do much more than that. It's been a long year and a half. Using this variation of my name allows you to visibly distinguish the genres because most of you aren't cross-genre readers. I see you, Christy. I know you are. You will always be my ideal reader. But most of you are not cross-genre readers. You want romance or you want horror or you want fantasy. I'm the crazy person who reads everything. That's fine. It's absolutely fine to do either. But this way, you see the name on the book, you know what you're going to get. If you're seeing Sarah, you're going to get the chick lit and the romance. And if you're seeing SR, you know it's going to be horror or fantasy. A lot of things are going to stay the same. I will continue to have one web page for all the writing and then some other related things that are going to come in that will be revamped over the summer as I wrap my head around it. This does mean a redesign, but you should always redesign your web page to keep things current. Since I already manage 2 newsletters, I'm going to continue to do that. The same with the Facebook group pages. 2 of them already exist. The only thing that's going to change on the horror and fantasy side is that there will be new imaging and new language, new bio to signify the name change. There's no new social media being added. I don't have the energy for what I have, let alone adding new. So Instagram and Twitter are going to stay the same. Biography information will be updated to signify that there are 2 pen names. And that's the extent of the social media changes. You won't have to take on another account or follow me somewhere else. The big change is going to be at Amazon. That's where I'm focused right now. This will happen over the next few months because I'm working on a new book, which I'll talk about in a moment. The new book and all the other books will be the moment where I transition Amazon to the new pen name. This will mean a new author page, and the horror books will be moved to that new author page for Sara Marks. The point is that when you look at Sara Marks's books, you will only see the chick lit and fantasy and one horror, Wicked Women. I'm hoping I can convince them to let me change that. It's not my decision. I'm not the publisher. But if it doesn't, I'm really hoping the cover makes it clear this is in no way romance. Even though my story is about a married couple. But when you're looking at Sara, you see Modern Persuasion and Northanger Parks and Phi Alpha Pi and the A Little More's books instead of all of that, and then Crowlack and Bright. And then when you go to Sara Marks, you're only going to see the horror and fantasy books, not the chick lit and romance. I can help people who are cross readers find the other books over time. That's not going to be difficult, but this is for new readers, people who don't know who I am. All future horror and fantasy books will just go straight to Sara Marks' author page. There will not need to be overlap beyond Instagram and Twitter and the webpage. The big change that I'm working on right now, because the author page is quite simple, surprisingly, the big change is book covers. Both Crowlack and Bray cover designers are evaporated. They probably still exist in the world. They're just not on the sites I bought the covers from and worked with them on, and I can't seem to find a way to contact them that they respond to. Believe me, I've been trying since January when I actually made this decision. I've been trying to set things up so that when I announced it, it was all easy peasy and everybody was ready to go, but I have not been able to find them. So I'm going to get the covers remade. I think Crowlack will look strikingly similar to what it does now, but Bray might look very different. It's just not a new book. It's just a new cover for the same book. I have some people to work with. I'm very happy to be able to do this opportunity because I'm going to be rewriting the blurbs and rethinking how I talk about these two books. They're not really short story collections. Those of you who have read them know that. They are different than a typical plot and narrative, but they're not short story collections. So we're going to talk about them a little differently. I'm not entirely sure how. I'm leaning towards novella. It's weird. I don't know. But that brings me to the next book. Because on September 1st, I'm going to be releasing an actual short story collection of 6 completely disconnected short stories. It's going to be #RescueMe. I don't have a cover yet. I'm still working on it, but the stories are done and they're ready to go to the proofreader, and I'm going to work on the cover and the back end of that this summer. That's going to be September 1st, and I'm very excited about it. These are the stories. I call these stories the coping mechanism stories. These are the ones I wrote a year and a half ago. My intention at the time had been to write through the pandemic just the short stories and submit them to anthologies, and wouldn't that be great? And I did one. I did Does This Bring You Joy? And then the others sat waiting. I have a bunch of them, but this is just going to be 6, including Does This Bring You Joy and Northanger After Dark, even though that was part of the Northanger Parks short story collection. It is technically a horror story, so I thought you guys, you horror readers, might like it as well. The #RescueMe is in it. The Horde, Red Eyes, and there's one more. I can't think of it off the top of my head. But these are distinctly horror stories that I basically wrote to cope and then put away once I had written them and didn't think about them until recently. While I keep working on Help Wanted New Devil, which is taking a lot more time than I thought it would, but I have a lot of issues around it. It's a complicated book, and it's a complicated set of emotions. So that gets a little more time. That's pushed out to 2022. Let's be honest, that I'm publishing anything is a miracle. This has been a very difficult year for almost everybody in some capacity. I'm very excited about the story collection, and I think you guys will like it too, because if you like Does This Bring You Joy, this is a lot of what I've written. For example, the title story, #RescueMe, was born from watching the Fire Festival documentaries and thinking about what hell would have been like for the people who went to Fire Festival, and it was not pleasant, but also it was fun to write. Anyway, I hope you're excited about the new pen name and all the images and books that are going to come out of it. If you're a cross genre reader, I hope you're excited to be able to find more of the books that I'm offering between two different pen names. And if you're only reading one, maybe two of these genres, like only chick lit and romance, I hope this makes your life a lot easier so that you don't get the horror books when you're expecting the romance books. Until then, keep your eye out. The announcements will keep coming over my webpage and social media. And I'm hoping you have a great summer and are looking forward to the next books.